So when Bell & Ross asked if I wanted to check out their new BR03, I thought about it for, at least a second before saying yes. Probably more enthusiastically than any grown man should. In my view, the BR03 has always been the epitome of Bell & Ross. It's what I'd draw if someone gave me a pencil and paper and asked me to sketch a Bell & Ross watch. A large, aviation-themed watch with a round dial set into a square case. You see, when Bruno Bellamic, the Bell of Bell & Ross, and Carlos Rossini, the Ross, founded the brand in 1992, they set out to make tough and functional watches inspired by the design of cockpit instruments. And they've gone on to supply watches to the bomb disposal unit of the French military and many of Europe's elite fighting forces on land, air and sea. And when this new BR03-A arrived, I thought they'd sent me the previous model by mistake, because at first glance it's hard to work out what's changed. It's a bit like one of those spot the difference games, and Where's Wally has nothing on this. I think I've done Sudokus in less time than it took me to work out what was new here. It's definitely a case of evolution rather than revolution, but while the changes might be subtle, they're important nonetheless. The biggest difference is in the case, which has been reduced from 42mm down to 41mm. I know, 1mm can hardly be called a big difference, but trust me, it is. Now, if you've been following the channel, and if you have, I hope you've subscribed, and if you haven't, then please hit that subscribe button now and give this video a like. But if you're a returning viewer, you'll know that I've got pretty small wrists at just under 6.5 inches. I mean, I've eaten thicker spaghetti. But what that means is the previous model, known as the BR03-92, with its 42mm case, was never something that I could even countenance. I mean, I once tried one on, and it looked like I had a manhole cover strapped to my wrist. But this new BR03-A, with its 41mm case, is much more wearable for those of us with smaller wrists. The lug width has also been reduced in size. Okay, only by 0.5 mm, but all of these small changes add up to make a big difference to how it wears. And narrower lugs also means a slimmer rubber strap, a bit less like a gauntlet. There are 8 versions available, with different dial options paired with either a stainless steel or this ceramic case. The stainless steel versions have brighter dial colours than their ceramic siblings, including a couple with a sunburst finish. And there's this really nice copper-coloured dial paired with a blued handset, whereas the ceramic case versions have more muted dial colours that offer a more purposeful, a more tactical vibe. This one is called Black Matte, which could be something to do with the very cool and super stealthy matte black finish. I guess the clue is in the name. As well as reducing the lug width, on this new version the lugs themselves are also faceted, and the rounded corners on the case are, well, a little rounder. While the case thickness on this ceramic version is a respectable 10.6mm, the bevel to the top edge is also wider than before, which makes the side profile appear slimmer and less slab-sided. On the right-hand side, the crown has also been redesigned, and I found it really easy to grip. The only noteworthy change to the dial is the handset, with both the hour and the minute hands being slimmer. Though without having the new and the outgoing model side by side, I doubt you'd notice. Perhaps the biggest change is the one you can't see, because beating away inside this new BR03 is an upgraded movement. The BR-Cal 302 is based on a Sellita SW300, which, like many of Sellita's movements, recently benefited from some tweaks. In this case, an improved power reserve, up from 42 hours to a more useful 54. So this new BR03-A has a retail price here in the UK of £3,700. Now that's an uplift of about £300 on the outgoing model. But is it a better watch? Personally, I welcome the changes. I mean, yeah, sure, they're subtle, but for someone with a smaller wrist like me, they really do make a big difference. I mean, Bell & Ross have taken what's arguably their most iconic model, and by making it smaller and more wearable, in line with the current trend towards smaller watches, they've opened it up to a whole new audience. Don't get me wrong, it's not a small watch. But whereas I couldn't have worn the previous 42mm model, even someone with tiny wrists like me can just about pull this one off. Sure, many of you watching this are probably thinking it still looks too big for me, but on the wrist it doesn't feel too big. The longer power reserve also helps to strengthen the value proposition. And while value is often an area where Bell & Ross receives a lot of criticism, when you consider the ceramic case, the quality of the movement, and the kudos you'll get from wearing a Bell & Ross, £3,700 doesn't sound particularly unreasonable to me. But this watch is a bit of a contradiction. You see, as much as I love watches that use ceramic as the case material, I mean, my Tudor black base ceramic is one of my favourite watches in the collection. But this is a watch that's designed to look rugged and robust, to be a proper military watch. But ceramic is a much more brittle material than stainless steel, and it's known to shatter on impact. So using ceramic for this Bell & Ross, I think is a strange choice, and it kind of makes this watch a bit of a sheep in wolf's clothing. But guys, drop me a comment below and tell me what you think of this Bell & Ross, because I do try and read and reply to all of the comments. If you like this video, then hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. And guys, I'll see you on the next one.